Hello, beautiful soul. I want you to take a deep breath with me right now. Just breathe in love and breathe out any worry or doubt that you might be carrying today. You found your way here because something in your heart is calling for more love, deeper love, the kind of love that feels safe and nurturing and real. And I want you to know that this calling, this longing you feel, is not something to be ashamed of or to hide from. It's actually the most natural thing in the world. You know, I've spent so many years working with people just like you, people who have beautiful, loving hearts, but who sometimes feel like love keeps slipping through their fingers like water. Maybe you've been through relationships that didn't work out the way you hoped. Maybe you've given your heart fully, only to find yourself hurt or disappointed. Or perhaps you've been single for a while now, and you're starting to wonder if there's something wrong with you, if you're asking for too much, if the love you dream of even exists. Let me tell you something with absolute certainty. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are not asking for too much. And the love you dream of, the deep, authentic, nurturing love that makes your soul sing, it absolutely exists. And it absolutely exists for you. But here's what I've learned after all these years of helping people heal and transform their lives. The most important relationship you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. And when that relationship is filled with love and respect and genuine appreciation, everything else begins to shift in the most beautiful ways. I understand that right now, this might feel like just words. When you're longing for someone to share your life with, when you see couples everywhere and wonder when it will be your turn, it can feel almost impossible to believe that love is coming for you. The loneliness can feel so heavy sometimes, can't it? Those quiet evenings when you wish you had someone to share your day with, someone who truly sees you and cherishes you for exactly who you are. What I want you to understand is that every experience you've had, every relationship that didn't work out, every moment of feeling alone has been preparing you for something greater. You haven't been wasting time. You haven't been doing anything wrong. You've been learning, growing, becoming more of who you truly are. And that process, even when it's painful, is sacred work. The truth is, the universe is always conspiring to bring you exactly what you need for your highest good. Sometimes what we think we want isn't quite aligned with what would truly make us happy and fulfilled. Sometimes we need to do a little inner work first, not because we're not good enough as we are, but because we deserve to experience love from a place of wholeness rather than need. Think about a garden for a moment. Before a gardener plants seeds, they prepare the soil. They make sure it's rich and nourishing, that it has everything the seeds need to grow strong and healthy. This doesn't mean the soil was bad before. It just means that with a little care and attention, it becomes the perfect environment for beautiful things to flourish. Your heart is like that garden, and the work we're going to do together is about creating the most loving, nurturing environment for the kind of love you deserve. You are here because you're ready. You're ready to stop settling for less than you deserve. You're ready to stop believing the stories that tell you love is hard or that good partners are impossible to find. You're ready to step into a new way of being that naturally attracts the love that's been waiting for you all along. Now, before we can talk about attracting the man of your dreams, we need to take an honest and loving look at how you currently relate to love itself. This isn't about judging yourself or finding fault. It's about understanding, with compassion, how your past experiences have shaped your beliefs and expectations about love. We all carry within us a collection of beliefs about love that we've gathered throughout our lives. Some of these beliefs serve us beautifully, and some of them keep us stuck in patterns that don't bring us joy. These beliefs often formed when we were very young, watching the adults around us, absorbing messages about what love looks like. what it costs, whether it's safe, whether we're worthy of it. Maybe you grew up watching parents who loved each other deeply and showed you what healthy partnership looks like. Or perhaps you witnessed relationships filled with drama, conflict, or distance, and part of you learned that love comes with pain. Maybe you received messages that you needed to earn love by being perfect, or that wanting love made you needy or weak. Whatever you learned, it lives in your subconscious mind and influences how you approach relationships today. These early impressions create what I like to think of as the lens through which we see love. If our lens has some smudges on it, we might see potential partners through a filter of fear or doubt. We might find ourselves attracted to people who can't truly meet us, or we might push away those who could love us well because they don't match the familiar patterns we learn to associate with love. The beautiful thing about this awareness is that once we recognize these patterns, we can begin to change them. We can clean that lens and start seeing love with fresh eyes. We can choose new beliefs that actually support us in creating the relationships we want. One of the most common patterns I see is what happens when someone has been hurt in love before. It's so natural to want to protect your heart after it's been broken. But sometimes that protection becomes a wall that keeps everyone out, including the people who could love you beautifully. The heart begins to whisper things like, "Don't trust too quickly," or "Don't get your hopes up," or "Everyone leaves eventually." These whispers feel like wisdom, like they're keeping you safe, but they can also keep you from being open to receive the love that's trying to reach you. Another pattern that's incredibly common is the tendency to give more than you receive. This often comes from a belief that love must be earned through service or sacrifice. So you might find yourself always being the one who calls first, who makes plans, who gives and gives until you're exhausted. And then you wonder why your relationships feel unbalanced, why you keep attracting people who take more than they give. Then there's the pattern of looking for love to complete you, to fill a void inside you, to make you feel whole and worthy and enough. This one is so understandable because we live in a culture that tells us romantic love is the answer to everything. But when we approach love from a place of emptiness, desperately needing someone else to make us feel valuable, we often end up in relationships that feel more like emotional rescue missions than true partnerships. What's happening energetically is that we're sending out a signal that says, "I need you to make me whole." And that signal tends to attract people who either can't meet that need or who are looking for someone to make them whole too. Two people trying to complete each other often creates more struggle than satisfaction. The most powerful shift you can make is to start seeing yourself as already whole and complete. Not because you're perfect or because you have everything figured out, but because your worth, your lovability, your deserving nature isn't dependent on having a partner. You are inherently valuable just as you are right now. When you really know this in your bones, you begin attracting people who want to share in your wholeness rather than fix your brokenness. This brings us to something that might be the most important thing I'll ever tell you about love. You cannot attract a healthy, loving partner until you become one yourself. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It means you need to cultivate within yourself the qualities you're hoping to find in someone else. If you want someone who loves you unconditionally, you must first learn to love yourself unconditionally. If you want someone who sees your beauty, you must first see your own beauty. If you want someone who treats you with respect and kindness, you must first treat yourself with respect and kindness. If you want someone who's emotionally available and communicative, you must first become emotionally available and communicative with yourself. This is the foundation everything else is built upon. Self-love isn't selfish or narcissistic. It's not about thinking you're better than everyone else or never needing to grow or change. Self-love is about treating yourself with the same care and consideration you would give to someone you truly cherish. It's about speaking to yourself kindly, honoring your needs, celebrating your strengths and being patient with your growth areas. When you truly love yourself, something magical happens. You stop looking for someone to save you, and you start looking for someone to dance with. You stop settling for crumbs of affection because you know you deserve the whole feast. You stop trying to convince someone to love you because you already know you're lovable. You stop tolerating behavior that doesn't feel good because you value yourself too much to accept less than you deserve. Self-love is also what allows you to be authentic in relationships. When you're not depending on someone else's approval to feel okay about yourself, you can show up as who you really are. You can share your thoughts and feelings honestly. You can set boundaries when you need to. You can ask for what you want without apologizing for wanting it. And this authenticity is incredibly attractive because it gives the other person permission to be authentic too. But I know that for many of you, self-love feels like a foreign concept. Maybe you were taught that loving yourself was vain or selfish. Maybe you learned to focus on everyone else's needs and forgot about your own. Maybe you've been so critical of yourself for so long that the idea of actually liking yourself feels impossible. If this is you, please be gentle with yourself as you begin this journey. Self-love is a practice, not a destination. It's something you grow into gradually, day by day, choice by choice. You don't have to wake up tomorrow feeling completely different about yourself. You just have to be willing to start treating yourself a little bit better than you did yesterday. One of the most powerful ways to begin developing self-love is through mirror work. This might feel uncomfortable at first, and that's okay. Discomfort often signals that we're working on something important. Stand in front of a mirror and look into your own eyes. Start by simply saying hello to yourself, as if you were greeting a dear friend you hadn't seen in a while. Notice what comes up. Do you immediately start criticizing your appearance? Do you feel silly or embarrassed? Just notice without judgment. As you get more comfortable with this practice, you can begin saying loving things to yourself in the mirror. I love you. I accept you. You are enough just as you are. You deserve love and happiness. I'm proud of how hard you're trying. At first, these words might feel untrue or uncomfortable. That's normal. Your mind has been trained to focus on what's wrong with you rather than what's right with you. But with practice, these loving messages will begin to feel more natural and true. Another beautiful way to practice self-love is through your inner dialogue. Start paying attention to how you talk to yourself throughout the day. Would you speak to a good friend the way you speak to yourself? If the answer is no, it's time to start changing that inner voice. When you catch yourself being critical or harsh, gently redirect toward kindness. Instead of, I'm so stupid for making that mistake, try, I'm human and I'm learning. Mistakes help me grow. Self-love also means taking care of your physical body with tenderness and respect. This isn't about trying to change yourself to fit some external standard of beauty. It's about honoring the body that carries you through life. Nourish yourself with foods that make you feel good. Move your body in ways that bring you joy. Get enough rest. Wear clothes that make you feel beautiful and comfortable. These acts of self-care send a message to your subconscious mind that you matter, that you're worth taking care of. And please start celebrating yourself. We're so quick to notice what we did wrong or what we need to improve, but we often overlook our accomplishments and growth. Start acknowledging yourself for the small things. You got out of bed on a difficult day. You were kind to a stranger. You tried something new even though it scared you. You're reading these words, which means you're actively working on creating more love in your life. These things matter. You matter. As you begin to love yourself more deeply, you'll notice that your relationship with love itself starts to change. You'll stop seeing love as something you need to chase or earn or convince someone to give you. You'll start seeing it as something you already are. something you carry within you and share generously with the world. And that shift, that movement from needing love to being love, is what creates the magnetic energy that draws your perfect partner to you. Now that we've talked about the importance of loving yourself, I want to address something that might be creating resistance in your heart, even as you're trying to open to love. And that's the weight of past hurts and old patterns that you might still be carrying around. You see, our hearts have an amazing capacity to love, but they also have a natural tendency to protect us from being hurt again. Sometimes this protection serves us, and sometimes it keeps us trapped in cycles that no longer serve our highest good. Every relationship you've ever had has left an imprint on your heart. The beautiful ones have shown you what's possible and have expanded your capacity to give and receive love. But the painful ones, the ones where you felt rejected or betrayed or misunderstood, those experiences can create energetic blocks that make it difficult for new love to flow into your life. It's like your heart builds little walls around the tender places, trying to keep them safe, but sometimes those walls end up keeping love out too. I want you to know that carrying these imprints doesn't make you damaged or broken. It makes you human. Everyone who has ever loved has also been hurt. Everyone who has opened their heart has experienced disappointment. The question isn't whether you'll have painful experiences in love, because you will. The question is whether you'll let those experiences close your heart permanently or teach you how to love more wisely. One of the most common ways past hurts show up in our current love life is through what I call emotional echoes. These are moments when something in the present triggers a memory or feeling from the past, and suddenly you're not responding to what's actually happening now, but to what happened before. Maybe someone doesn't text you back quickly, and instead of thinking they might be busy, your mind immediately goes to, they're losing interest, because that's what happened with your ex. Or maybe someone wants to spend time with their friends, and you feel abandoned because your past partner made you feel like you weren't enough. These emotional echoes are so sneaky because they feel completely real and justified in the moment. Your body responds as if the past hurt is happening again right now. Your heart starts racing, your stomach gets tight, you might feel angry or scared or sad, and all of these feelings seem to be about the current situation. But really, they're about old wounds that haven't fully healed yet. The beautiful thing is that once you recognize these patterns, you can start to heal them. You can learn to distinguish between what's happening now and what happened before. You can give yourself permission to respond to the present moment instead of reacting from past pain. But first, you need to be willing to look at those old hurts with love and compassion instead of trying to pretend they don't exist or pushing them away. Healing doesn't mean forgetting what happened or pretending it didn't hurt. Healing means allowing yourself to feel the pain fully so it can move through you and transform into wisdom. It means honoring the part of you that got hurt while also honoring the part of you that survived and grew stronger. It means telling the truth about your experiences without letting them define your future possibilities. One of the most powerful tools for releasing old patterns is forgiveness. But I want to be very clear about what forgiveness actually means. Forgiveness isn't about excusing someone's behavior or pretending that what they did was okay. It's not about reconciling with people who hurt you or putting yourself in harm's way again. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself from the prison of resentment and anger so you can move forward with an open heart. When you hold on to anger and resentment, you're essentially keeping the person who hurt you energetically connected to you. Every time you think about them with bitterness, every time you rehearse the story of how they wronged you, you're giving them space in your heart that could be occupied by love instead. Forgiveness is how you take that space back. It's how you reclaim your power and your peace. But forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. You might think you've forgiven someone completely, only to have the anger bubble up again when something reminds you of what happened. This doesn't mean you're doing it wrong or that you're weak. It means you're human, and healing happens in layers. Be patient with yourself as you move through this process. Each time you choose forgiveness over resentment, you're creating more space in your heart for love to grow. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is yourself. Maybe you stayed in a relationship longer than you should have. Maybe you ignored red flags because you wanted so badly to be loved. Maybe you gave your heart to someone who couldn't appreciate it. Maybe you made choices that you now regret. The self-criticism and shame that can follow these experiences can be more damaging than what anyone else ever did to you. You need to forgive yourself with the same compassion you would offer to a dear friend who was going through a difficult time. You made the best decisions you could with the awareness and emotional tools you had at the time. You were doing your best to get your needs for love and connection met, even if the ways you went about it didn't work out as you hoped. Your heart was in the right place, even if the circumstances weren't right for you. Part of releasing old patterns also means being willing to take responsibility for your part in past relationships without taking responsibility for everything. This is a delicate balance. You want to acknowledge the ways you might have contributed to problems or chosen partners who weren't right for you, but you don't want to blame yourself for other people's behavior or choices. You can take responsibility for your patterns while still honoring the fact that you deserve to be treated with love and respect. As you release these old patterns and hurts, you make space for something beautiful to emerge, a clear sense of your own worth and value. When you're not carrying the weight of past pain, when you're not constantly braced for the next hurt, you can start to see yourself clearly. You can start to recognize not just that you deserve love, but that you deserve really good love, the kind that honors and celebrates who you are. Knowing your worth isn't about thinking you're perfect or better than anyone else. It's about recognizing your inherent value as a human being and refusing to accept treatment that doesn't reflect that value. It's about understanding that your worth isn't dependent on whether someone chooses to love you or not. Your worth is a given, not something you have to earn or prove. This knowing changes everything about how you approach relationships. When you truly know your worth, you stop trying to convince people to see your value. You stop tolerating behavior that feels bad because you're so grateful for any attention at all. You stop making excuses for people who don't treat you well. You stop settling for less than you deserve because settling starts to feel impossible when you really know what you deserve. But knowing your worth also means being willing to set boundaries. And this can feel scary at first, especially if you've been taught that being loving means being accommodating no matter what. You might worry that having boundaries will push people away or make you seem difficult or demanding. But here's what I've learned. People who are right for you will respect your boundaries. People who get upset when you set healthy limits are usually people who were benefiting from you not having any. Boundaries aren't walls that keep people out. They're guidelines that let people know how to love you well. They're a way of communicating your needs and limits so that relationships can be healthy and sustainable. When you set a boundary, you're saying, "This is how I need to be treated in order to feel safe and loved." Anyone who truly cares about you will want to honor that. Some boundaries are about behavior. You might need to say no to being spoken to harshly, or to being criticized constantly, or to having your time consistently disrespected. Some boundaries are about time and energy. You might need to limit how often you're available for someone who only calls when they need something, or how much emotional labor you do for people who don't reciprocate. Some boundaries are about values. You might need to distance yourself from people whose actions consistently conflict with what you believe is right and good. Setting boundaries requires you to get clear about what you need and want in relationships, and then to communicate those needs with kindness but firmness. This doesn't mean issuing ultimatums or being controlling. It means being honest about what works for you and what doesn't, and being willing to make choices that honor your well-being. The most important thing to remember about boundaries is that they're not meant to punish other people or to control their behavior. They're meant to protect your own energy and well-being so you can show up as your best self in relationships. When you take good care of yourself, you have more love and patience and kindness to offer others. When you let people treat you poorly, you end up feeling resentful and depleted, which doesn't serve anyone. As you practice setting boundaries and honoring your worth, you'll start to notice something wonderful happening. You'll begin to attract people who naturally treat you well, people who respect your limits without you having to fight for that respect. You'll find yourself drawn to people who have healthy boundaries of their own, people who take responsibility for their own happiness and well-being instead of expecting you to manage their emotions for them. This brings us to something that might be the most transformative shift you can make in your love life. Aligning your energy and vibration with the love you want to receive. You see, the law of attraction isn't just about thinking positive thoughts and hoping for the best. It's about becoming energetically aligned with what you desire so that you naturally attract experiences and people that match that energy. Think about it this way. If you want to attract someone who is peaceful and grounded, you need to cultivate peace and groundedness within yourself. If you want someone who is joyful and optimistic, you need to find ways to access joy and optimism in your own life. If you want someone who is emotionally mature and communicative, you need to develop those qualities within yourself. Like attracts like, not just in terms of circumstances, but in terms of energy and consciousness. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect or that you have to have everything figured out before love can find you. It means you need to be actively working on becoming the kind of person you want to be in a relationship with. It means taking responsibility for your own happiness and fulfillment instead of waiting for someone else to provide those things for you. When you're vibrating at the frequency of love, when you're genuinely happy and content with your life as it is, you become incredibly magnetic to other people who are operating from that same frequency. There's something so attractive about someone who is complete within themselves, but open to sharing that completeness with another person. There's something irresistible about someone who doesn't need you to make them happy, but would love to share happiness with you. One of the most powerful ways to align your energy with love is to start treating yourself like the beloved you are. Wake up each morning and ask yourself, how can I love myself well today? Make choices throughout the day that honor your well-being and bring you joy. Speak to yourself with kindness. Celebrate your accomplishments. Forgive yourself for your mistakes. Create a life that feels so good to you that sharing it with someone becomes a desire rather than a need. Another way to raise your vibration is to focus on gratitude for the love that's already present in your life. Maybe you don't have a romantic partner yet, but you have friends who care about you, family members who support you, or even just the capacity to love and be loved. When you focus on the love that's already there, you create more space for love to grow and expand in all areas of your life. You can also align your energy by spending time doing things that make you feel alive and connected to your purpose. When you're engaged in activities that light you up, when you're pursuing goals that matter to you, when you're contributing to the world in ways that feel meaningful, you naturally become more attractive to others. There's something magnetic about someone who is passionate about their life and connected to their purpose. As you do this work of aligning your energy with love, you'll notice that your entire relationship with dating and meeting people begins to shift. Instead of approaching potential partners from a place of need or desperation, you'll approach them from a place of curiosity and openness. Instead of trying to be what you think they want, you'll simply be who you are and trust that the right person will appreciate that authenticity. Instead of fear that you'll never find love, you'll have faith that love is already on its way to you. This brings us to perhaps one of the most challenging aspects of attracting love: learning to trust divine timing while still taking inspired action. This delicate balance between surrender and engagement, between letting go and staying open, between trusting the universe and participating in your own life, is where so many beautiful souls get confused or frustrated. The truth is, there's a perfect timing for everything in life, including love. The universe has a way of orchestrating connections and opportunities in ways that are far more elegant and meaningful than anything we could force or manipulate into being. But this doesn't mean you sit back passively and wait for love to knock on your door. It means you prepare yourself energetically and practically for love's arrival while trusting that it will come in the perfect way at the perfect time. Divine timing doesn't mean that you're powerless or that you have no influence over your love life. It means that there are forces at work beyond what you can see or control, and sometimes what feels like a delay is actually the universe making sure that when your person arrives, both of you are ready for the depth of connection you're meant to share. Sometimes you need to grow a little more, heal a little deeper, or learn something important about yourself before you can fully appreciate and nurture the love that's coming your way. Think about it like this. Imagine that your perfect partner is also on their own journey of growth and healing. They might be learning the same lessons you're learning right now about self-love and boundaries and releasing old patterns. They might be becoming the person who can love you the way you deserve to be loved. While you're doing your inner work, they're doing theirs. And when the timing is right, when you've both grown into who you need to be, your paths will cross in a way that feels magical and meant to be. This doesn't mean you wait passively for this magical moment to arrive. Inspired action is about staying open and engaged with life while trusting the timing of love's unfolding. It's about saying yes to invitations, pursuing interests that excite you, being friendly and open when you meet new people, taking care of your appearance in ways that make you feel confident and beautiful, and generally living your life in a way that creates opportunities for connection. Inspired action feels different from desperate action. When you're taking inspired action, you're moving from a place of joy and curiosity rather than fear and lack. You might join a hiking group because you love being in nature, not because you're hunting for a husband. You might take a cooking class because you want to learn new skills, not because you're trying to meet someone. You might accept an invitation to a party because it sounds fun, not because you're desperately hoping your soulmate will be there. The beautiful thing about inspired action is that it keeps you vibrating at a high frequency while creating natural opportunities for love to find you. When you're doing things you enjoy with people who share your interests, you're much more likely to meet someone who's genuinely compatible with you. When you're engaged with life and pursuing your passions, you're naturally more attractive and magnetic. But inspired action also means being willing to step outside your comfort zone sometimes. If you always go to the same places and do the same things with the same people, you're limiting the ways love can reach you. This doesn't mean you have to completely change your life or do things that don't feel authentic to you. It means being open to new experiences and adventures that align with who you're becoming. Maybe that means finally taking the art class you've been thinking about for years. Maybe it means saying yes when a friend invites you to try something new. Maybe it means traveling to a place you've always wanted to visit, or joining a group that shares your values, or volunteering for a cause you care about. The key is to choose activities that genuinely interest and excite you, not activities you think will help you meet someone. One of the most important aspects of trusting divine timing is learning to stay present with your life as it is right now, rather than constantly waiting for your life to begin when your partner arrives. This is so crucial because the energy of waiting is very different from the energy of living. When you're waiting for love to make your life complete, you're sending out a signal that your life isn't quite enough as it is. But when you're fully engaged with and grateful for your life as it unfolds, you're sending out a signal that you're already complete and just looking for someone wonderful to share that completeness with. This means celebrating the season of life you're in right now. If you're single, this is a precious time to really get to know yourself, to pursue goals and dreams that matter to you, to deepen friendships, to travel or explore or create without having to consider anyone else's schedule or preferences. This isn't a waiting period before your real life begins. This is your real life, and it's beautiful and valuable exactly as it is. As you learn to trust divine timing, you'll also develop what I like to call relationship readiness. This is different from being desperate for a relationship or trying to force love to happen. Relationship readiness is about being emotionally, mentally, and practically prepared to welcome healthy love into your life when it arrives. Emotionally, this means you've done enough healing work that you're not looking for someone to fix your past hurts or make you feel whole. You're open and vulnerable, but not needy or clingy. You can communicate your feelings clearly and handle conflict in healthy ways. You know how to love someone without losing yourself in the process. Mentally, this means you have realistic expectations about love and relationships. You understand that no relationship is perfect and that love requires effort and commitment from both people. You're not looking for someone to complete you or solve all your problems. You're looking for a partner to share life's joys and challenges with. Practically, this means your life has space for a relationship. You've created room in your schedule, your home, and your heart for another person. You're not so busy or overwhelmed that you wouldn't have time to nurture a relationship properly. You've thought about what kind of partnership you want and what you have to offer a partner in return. Now, let's talk about how to integrate all of these insights into your daily life in practical, sustainable ways. Because understanding these concepts intellectually is one thing, but living them consistently is what creates real transformation in your love life. The most powerful way to embody these teachings is through daily practices that remind you of your worth, keep your heart open, and maintain your vibration at the frequency of love. These don't have to be complicated or time-consuming. Often the simplest practices are the most effective because you can maintain them consistently over time. Start each day by setting an intention for how you want to feel and how you want to show up in the world. This might be as simple as saying, "Today, I choose to see myself and others through the eyes of love." Or, "Today, I am open to giving and receiving love in all its forms." This simple practice helps you begin each day from a centered, heart-open place rather than rushing into your activities from a place of stress or scarcity. Mirror work remains one of the most transformative practices you can engage in. Spend a few minutes each morning looking into your own eyes and speaking words of love and encouragement to yourself. Tell yourself you're beautiful, that you're worthy of love, that you're proud of the growth you're experiencing. At first, this might feel awkward or untrue, but with consistency, you'll begin to believe these loving messages at a deep level. Create a daily gratitude practice that includes appreciation for the love that's already present in your life. This might be gratitude for friends who support you, family members who care about you, pets who bring you joy, or simply your own capacity to love. When you focus on the love you already have, you create more space for love to grow and expand. Journaling can be incredibly powerful for processing emotions, gaining clarity about what you want in a relationship, and tracking your growth over time. Try writing about your day from a place of love rather than criticism. Instead of focusing on what went wrong or what you wish you had done differently, write about moments of joy, connection, growth, or beauty. Write about the qualities you're developing within yourself and the kind of love you're preparing to welcome into your life. Pay attention to your inner dialogue throughout the day and gently redirect negative self-talk toward kindness. When you catch yourself being critical or harsh, pause and ask, "How can I speak to myself more lovingly right now?" This practice gradually rewires your brain to default to self-compassion rather than self-criticism. Create rituals that help you feel beautiful and worthy of love. This might be taking luxurious baths, wearing clothes that make you feel confident, dancing to music you love, or preparing nourishing meals for yourself. These acts of self-care send a message to your subconscious that you matter and deserve to be treated well. Engage in activities that bring you joy and help you feel alive and connected to your purpose. When you're doing things you love, you naturally radiate positive energy that's attractive to others. Plus, pursuing your passions creates opportunities to meet like-minded people who share your interests and values. Practice being the kind of friend and family member you'd want to have as a romantic partner. Be reliable, supportive, honest, and loving in all your relationships. This helps you develop the relationship skills you'll need when your romantic partner arrives, and it also helps you attract people who have those same qualities. Stay open and friendly when you meet new people, without putting pressure on every interaction to lead to romance. Practice seeing everyone as a potential friend or connection rather than evaluating every person as a potential partner. This takes the pressure off and allows relationships to develop naturally. Even with all this knowledge and these practices, you might still find yourself running into blocks or challenges as you work on attracting love. This is completely normal and doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. In fact, recognizing and working through these blocks is an important part of your growth process. One of the most common blocks is fear of vulnerability. Opening your heart to love means risking being hurt again, and after you've experienced pain in relationships before, this risk can feel overwhelming. The key is to remember that vulnerability isn't about being reckless with your heart or ignoring red flags. It's about being willing to be seen and known by someone who has earned the right to see and know you. Start practicing vulnerability in small ways with safe people. Share something real about your day with a trusted friend. Express appreciation for someone who matters to you. Ask for help when you need it. These small acts of openness help you build your vulnerability muscles in low-risk situations so that when love arrives, you'll be ready to be appropriately open and authentic. Another common block is the fear of disappointment. Maybe you've gotten your hopes up before only to have things not work out, and now part of you doesn't want to hope at all because hoping hurts when it doesn't pan out. The antidote to this fear isn't to stop hoping. It's to learn to hold hope lightly, to stay open to possibilities without being attached to specific outcomes. Remember that disappointment is not a reflection of your worth or your future prospects. It's simply information that a particular situation wasn't right for you. Each disappointment is actually protecting you from settling for less than you deserve and clearing the way for something better to enter your life. Sometimes the block is impatience or frustration with divine timing. When you're ready for love and you've done the work to prepare yourself, waiting can feel excruciating. During these times, it's important to remember that your timeline and the universe's timeline aren't always the same, and that's actually a gift. The universe sees the bigger picture and knows things about your perfect partner's journey that you can't see. Use these periods of waiting as opportunities to deepen your relationship with yourself and to create an even more beautiful life to share with your future partner. Trust that the timing will be perfect, even if it doesn't match your original expectations. Another block that often comes up is comparison with others. When it seems like everyone around you is finding love easily while you're still waiting, it's natural to wonder what's wrong with you or why your journey is taking longer. Remember that everyone's path is different, and what looks easy from the outside often isn't. Some people find love quickly but struggle to maintain it. Others take longer to find love but create relationships that last a lifetime. Your journey is unique to you, and the lessons you're learning and the growth you're experiencing are preparing you for a love that's perfectly suited to who you're becoming. Trust your process and try not to measure your progress against anyone else's timeline. Sometimes well-meaning friends and family members offer advice that doesn't feel right for you. They might suggest you lower your standards or try dating apps you're not interested in, or approach love in ways that don't align with your values. While they mean well, remember that you're the expert on your own life and your own heart. Trust your instincts about what feels right for you, and don't be afraid to politely decline advice that doesn't resonate. As we come to the end of our time together, I want you to take a moment to appreciate how far you've already come. By engaging with these ideas, by being willing to look at your patterns and beliefs about love, by opening yourself to the possibility that you deserve incredible love, you've already begun the transformation process. This willingness to grow and heal and become more loving is what will ultimately draw your perfect partner to you. Remember that attracting the man of your dreams isn't about becoming perfect or having everything figured out. It's about becoming authentically, unapologetically yourself while staying open to love in all its forms. It's about treating yourself with such love and respect that you naturally attract people who want to treat you that way too. It's about creating a life so beautiful and fulfilling that sharing it becomes a joy rather than a necessity. The 5 keys we've explored together are not just strategies for finding love. They're a blueprint for living a more loving, authentic, fulfilling life, regardless of your relationship status. As you practice self-love, release old patterns, know your worth, align your energy, and trust divine timing, you'll find that love begins to show up in every area of your life in more beautiful ways. Your perfect partner is out there, and they're looking for you just as surely as you're looking for them. They're probably doing their own inner work right now, becoming the person who can love you the way you deserve to be loved. Trust that when the timing is right, when you've both grown into who you need to be, love will find a way to bring you together. Until then, love yourself fiercely, honor your journey, celebrate your growth, stay open to the magic that's possible when you align with love, and remember that you are already whole, already worthy, already lovable exactly as you are. The love that's coming isn't going to complete you. It's going to celebrate the completeness you've discovered within yourself. Take these teachings into your heart and into your daily life. Practice them with patience and compassion for yourself. Trust the process, even when you can't see the outcome. And most importantly, never forget that you are deserving of a love that honors the beautiful, unique, precious soul that you are. The man of your dreams will find you, dear one, not because you've made yourself perfect, but because you've made yourself real. Not because you've eliminated all your flaws, but because you've learned to love yourself with all your humanness. Not because you've forced love to happen, but because you've created space for it to flourish. Your love story is being written right now, with every choice you make to treat yourself more kindly, every boundary you set with love, every old pattern you release, every moment you choose faith over fear. Trust the story that's unfolding. Trust your heart. Trust love itself. It's all working out for your highest good in ways more beautiful than you can imagine.